system. And then they also mentioned that Armada, their print and play, like what was it called? Not instant resources.
The print and play components that they were
that was created by employees who just loved Armada. Like the designers of the game were told like not to work on it, and they just did that in their like free time. And they came in, they were like, "Hey, we got this like cool thing we can launch like for Armada players." And then AMG was like, "Okay, I mean, since you already made it, go for it." Whew. So.
Well, yeah, definitely a decent amount to talk about.
Yeah, but that's just to catch you up on like what the whole interview like was about.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I still think I'm gonna check it out. I remember I also interviewed Will. That was the guy, one of the two guys I interviewed. He was and I met him at Worlds. He was a good interview.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so are we ready to start recording?
Yeah. I'm all fired up, ready to go.
All right. Yep. And then I'll come in with the intro for this one.
Sure.
All right. 2. You are listening to the 312 Squadron podcast. My name is Andrew Kuba.
My name is Nick Sperry.
And I'm Samuel Graebner.
And this week we are talking about Krabig's interview with Will Schick, the GT announcement, and for our main topic, we're diving into Extended. Yeah. So, first things first, though, it's been a little while since we've published content, but how has everybody been?
Sam, you go first.
Well, I moved. I'm no longer a Chicago local, unfortunately.
They're not supposed to know that.
Sorry. Well, I've found a new community, and I'm playing X-Wing, and I'm doing good.
That's awesome. That's so great to hear. Especially, it's good that people from 312 were getting out there in the world and bringing X-Wing with us, which is great.
Yeah, repping 312 wherever I go.
Yeah.
I did move as well, and I'm in Chicago. That's part of the reason why we've had the slower release cycle for some of our content. So thank you all for bearing with me.
Yeah, man, you've been doing a bang up job with everything. So this is the time for us to be busy. There isn't. There's definitely stuff to talk about, but also there isn't in some ways, depending on how you look at it. So I think it's totally okay. We're here. We're still doing our thing.
Yeah, fair enough. We're in the swing of the season. Like it's kind of a little bit of the off season right now, I think. But before we move on, Nick, how about you? What's been new with you?
Man, I mean, I'm not here to bring things down, but I have been better. I have been better. I am feeling the fatigue and the frustration, ambiguity, confusion of kind of what the community of X-Wing has been feeling. My Chicago Cubs are playing the worst baseball I've seen since the World Series drought, when they were selling their team for farm prospects, and they've been playing really bad for 6 weeks, and I want to rip my hair out because they're losing to the White Sox, the worst team in baseball, 5-0 at home. And their poor catcher. Nothing's going well there.
Yeah.
And I've just been busy traveling for work, which just came back from Portland. That was a great trip, but it was a 5-day trip. I had a 6 a.m. flight and still just kind of adjusting back to this time zone. So I am tired. I'm a little grumpy, but I'm here. I'm sure talking to y'all will light me up, but I want to just let everybody know that I hear you. I can relate to you all. It's okay to feel down. Just find distractions that make you happy. That are safe too. Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, good message at the end.
Yeah,
just snuck that one in there.
One in there. Yeah, exactly.
We're a family podcast. We're responsible, and that's important.
Exactly. Yeah. So otherwise, I'm doing great.
Okay. Well, glad to hear it. I mean, it seems like things are turning around, which is good. And speaking of, we were talking about the drought of information that we were getting from AMG. We got a little bit of a drip this past week with on Kravic's stream on YouTube, who did an interview with Will Schick, and we did Nick did his interview with him a while ago. So it's nice to see someone who's from AMG, who's related somewhat to X-Wing, make an appearance as well. They did a brief talk about X-Wing and had basically mentioned that when they were considering creating new product or coming out with anything new, one of the considerations is how is it going to be for the stores, and that they were still maybe in the consideration phase of whether or not they would be asking to take up shelf space with stores if it's product that they feel that stores can't move. A lot of the conversation I heard on Reddit and around has been that means that X-Wing just isn't seen as profitable for a lot of local game stores, or maybe not profitable in the eyes of AMG. And just wanted to get a quick update. I know with our last episode we talked about this a lot, but with this new information, just kind of check in with you both and see where you're feeling at. So we can start with Sam. Yeah.
Well, it's not good news, you know. It's pretty concerning. Anecdotally, I've seen stores that have X-Wing stock that doesn't move. I've seen we just recently had Asmodee's stock of X-Wing stuff was either sold out or unavailable. Like there is some consternation about
it's like not one product is available, Sam. Like a damage deck. Could I get like a damage deck from an Asmodee's store, or are you talking about like everything? I
believe it was like straight up everything. I don't quote me. But I saw it on Reddit, and it was concerning when I saw it.
Oh yeah, it's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to give you guys the spin zone on that one, but I don't. I mean, it's the most optimistic thing is it's just a restructure because of the Embracer Group thing, which would be a pretty reasonable guess if you wanted to just be more like even keel about and not so doom and gloom about it.
Right,
it's just the timing is really bad. Like,
yeah, exactly. Who knows how they're handling their inventory, but. If they're not moving it, then and they're trying to, I don't know, liquidate it, or I don't know. It's concerning.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah, I think there's no other way around that. Kind of this combination that if AMG thinks it's not profitable right now, and if they're not willing to like try anything, it could mean that they're just not going to be focusing that much on the game. I don't think that they're maybe willing to call it like a day with it yet. But it does seem like expecting new content in 2024 may be a longer shot. The other thing that I thought of is if they're taking down like all available stock, that also could mean that they're doing an inventory where they need to count the actual dollar value of everything that they have in the store to evaluate the sale price of AMG. And so they just don't want to move any product and have
or of Asmodee, right?
Or Asmodee, right?
Yeah, the parent.
Right. Or company. Yeah, Asmodee.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, I have thoughts on this stuff. Like I have been, in a way, it's kind of been a blessing. I've kind of in passing seen people up in arms about another thing, and I'm like, oh boy, what did I miss? Because I've just been pretty distracted. But I saw this, and I just didn't really have like I might be at the point where I just don't really have an adverse reaction or any sort of shock when I hear about this or this or this. I just am tired, and it's kind of gotten to the point where I don't know why we feel like we need to rely on Atomic Mass games. I'm not saying that we collectively, the three of us or our group, necessarily is, but I think the community is almost acting like it's new that the Atomic Mass games or that X-Wing is not being prioritized, and we all kind of figured that it wasn't making Asmodee much money, And also, I would go as far as to guess that none of their games are profitable right now. I can't look at data and say, look here, Shatterpoint's not making enough money, it's not profitable. However, just the complete restructure and situation that they're in, Shatterpoint, I just would not be surprised if even Shatterpoint is as on the high priority list and going to stay there because it's its latest product, but that it's not making enough money. I just wouldn't be surprised. It just seems like that's the situation.
Right. I think that, well, I think Legion is, I've heard that Legion actually is probably their most profitable game that they have. But Shatterpoint, they made a big push for. It seems like it's made a miss, and they're going into the skirmish miniatures market, which I know I've said before on this podcast. Right now, that is the most lucrative market in the tabletop wargaming space. So I think they thought they could make a play there. They made a big push with it. It may not have panned out in the way that they were hoping. And then again, too, I've only really seen their competitive circuit. And if you compare the competitive circuit for AMG's offerings, X-Wing's kicking butt, but that also leads me to believe that we're not the main customer base or buyers of X-Wing and AMG's product line.
Unfortunately, casual play does tend to rule the roost for profitability.
Sorry, Sam. I wonder how Legion can be played at a large level casually, and like Shatterpoint and like games that require a high buy-in. I get confused because I feel like X-Wing is one of the easiest, most approachable games.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it translates to sales. Clearly, it doesn't. I definitely am starting to point a little bit more blame. I've tried to avoid total blame game stuff, but I feel like we could have done a little bit to sell the game a little bit more at this point, just from like a product standpoint or whatever.
Absolutely, right? So. Like there's a lot more that we can try. And the one message I hear online too is lots of people have been begging to give AMG money, and they just need to release support for it, because the battle over Endor, the card packs, I feel like that kind of stuff would be a lot more successful, and it's such a low cost for them to create.
I think it would almost be better. There was this conversation in one of our streams. You were streaming a Draft League game a couple days ago, and just kind of how Atomic Mass Games is not as high on the super competitive side of games like X-Wing. Obviously, they like the more beer and pretzels, casual painting your stuff vibe. They've definitely expressed interest in that aspect of gaming, which I definitely respect and I can appreciate. I would almost feel like it would be better at this point for a game like X-Wing to just once again just change to somebody that is like very much more interested in the competitive side. If they wanted the game to live. If they don't care, if overall the parent company's like, it doesn't matter, that's not going to happen. But like if it changed hands again, I feel like that would be better for the game than if it just kind of withered away.
Oh, for sure. I mean, absolutely. Because that's the one thing that you want to avoid is the company holding on to the license because no one's willing to buy it. But it's the one thing that's the most valuable aspect of AMG and Asmodee. So that's where the licensing hell cliff is for us.
Yeah, which is the death knell of any game.
Yeah, and that's the other reason why they're also not going to say like Armada, like where they say like, hey, we've laid off most of the development team, there's going to be no product, but they're also not willing to call it like dead or that they're done with it, because at that point then the community goes, great, we'll just take it over from here and make our own stuff. And that
that's why they aren't declaring it done, is because
I
they don't want the community to like keep the game alive.
No. I don't think that's why. I don't think that they're not looking at the community, but that the community, like what I've heard in like a lot of Armada channels, is that they just wish that they would say, look, it's done. Just like don't expect anything in the future. They're kind of stringing them along, but because it's not in AMG's interest to say that they're done with it, because the IP itself is too valuable for them to even announce that, because that would just devalue it when they're trying to sell.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is a situation where the idea of the thing
Still has value.
Is more valuable than the actual implementation and execution of the thing, which is, not to get political, but like that's the most capitalistic thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, right. So I guess I want to say too, not to keep going on this topic, because I mean, last episode, I feel like we talked a lot about this stuff too, but it's nice that we got a little bit more information, just a little trickle from it as well. But we can talk about now, we were speculating on what the grand tournaments would look like. And now we've gotten the grand tournament dates, and in like AMG fashion, they were wrong, not mentioning Adepticon and Gen Con as GTs. Well, Adepticon's Worlds, but they forgot to put Gen Con on as a GT, even though it's a GT if you buy tickets for it through Gen Con. But they released all of the other non-Gen Con GTs. And what are your thoughts on that if you got to take a look at this weekend? Want to start with you, Nick?
Oh, yes.
There we go.
Yes.
I've played his trap card.
Yes, exactly. You have played. Yeah. You have walked into my trap.
Yeah.
So, I have thoughts, of course, hence that long-winded part. It's saying thoroughly disappointed doesn't really doesn't do enough justice to how I feel about this. I was in the behind the scenes, for those of you that don't know, trying to help secure, support, even stream some GTs that we were trying to organize locally, Chicagoland, Dragonfall in Wisconsin, in Lake Geneva, and we find out that we got nothing. And I was like, well, that sucks. There's nothing locally in Chicagoland or within a couple hours driving distance for us to play at for GTs. And then we come to find out that besides Gen Con, which at the time of this announcement wasn't even listed, there are no Midwest events for X-Wing, like GT sized events, which is ironic to me, because they said that the whole point of a GT was to not make people feel excluded. And they've excluded one of the biggest regions for X-Wing players, the Midwest. What
I mean, I think
kidding me?
My guess is that they feel that Gen Con and the fact that Worlds is here is enough.
My guess is they're dummy poopy pants. Is my guess. And it's just
so this one personally hurt you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because this hurts us, man. This hurts 312. Not being able to stream any official events. It's just like, if we're not going to have store champs, which again, I have no reason to expect we're getting a store kit because it's June. Like we need to find out about that like tomorrow.
I don't think they're store kits.
So we're going to have our own little extended tournament in July. It'll be fun. Rah, rah. People will come and play and have a good time, as we always do with our tournaments, whether they're unofficial or official. I'm not worried about being able to like do store champ type stuff, but it's just like, we are not only downsizing, consolidating, but we're like exponentially decreasing the access to the game because of convenience for AMG at the expense of the few who actually get to organize a GT. They have to do all the work, and then all the people who quote unquote were excluded from Worlds get even more excluded because there's nothing around for them to play at. And it's like, well, they can just play at their store and just play in a little mini tournament. It's like, well, how are they going to get these prizes that they posted if you have to drive 8 hours? Like, X-Wing's not that big. It's not worth driving 8 hours for one GT. Like, it's no. So I'm sorry.
I wonder if to blame is the fact that like a bunch of people from Chicago went out to LVO, and so maybe they looked at the numbers and they were like, well, a lot of Chicagoans go to LVO.
Andrew, that's giving them so much credit that they actually.
I don't think they looked at it, and also too, like we're not the only group that kind of got left out a little bit. I found out that in Australia, AMG just gave a group called Let's Play Games just the entirety of running GTs there. So they just completely outsourced it. And from what I've just heard like online is that Let's Play Games is a very divisive group. Controversial on how well they run events. So for AMG just to like pawn it off on like a third party is also kind of a bummer there. So my heart goes out to any of the Aussies that are affected by that. Yeah, I mean, and also too, when they announced the prizes also seem very, very mid as well.
I mean,
for if
half
they were
of it's
going
recycled, man. At least half.
Exactly, that's the thing.
Exactly recycled.
And dice are cool, but like they're recycled dice. Like I gotta say that if they were gonna go to this GT, I hoped that they would bring a lot more like fanfare to it and trying to do more, even if they're going to go last, because even if the companies and if they're in trouble, I understand it's very expensive to put together events and tournaments and things, but there's a lot more they could have done, and it feels not only like last minute, it also feels very lackluster. And they're also standing on the shoulders of community-run events that are already pretty amazing without AMG's involvement, like LVO and the Lone Star Open and some of these other places as well.
Do you remember during COVID? I'm going to throw it to you, Sam, after this. During COVID, when people had their vacations all booked, their travel, flights, whatever, or right before COVID, then COVID hit. Everything got canceled because the world shut down. Like there's a huge, dangerous, ambiguous virus out there that is killing a lot of people. And the airlines were like, yo, I don't think it's very fair that we don't get to just keep the money from the people that bought the tickets that are not allowed to fly on our airline. And the government's like, well, you can't just steal from people. Like they didn't get the service, so you got to give the money back. And the airlines are like, that's not really fair. To me, it's like AMG's like, I want to take your money, but I don't want to do anything to like earn it. Like, can you just give us your money? Like, we don't really want to spend any money on making anything. Yeah, no, they cried poor with the Worlds announcement thing and how they were changing worlds. They even mentioned a line about how they didn't want to pay for people to stay at the hotel or for the winners of the tournaments that had to travel abroad. They literally bitched about that in the announcement. And so I made that analogy to the airline thing because I feel like they're bitching about being a business in a business-minded environment where the only way to sell product is to make product. And they're like, we can't sell product because we don't have it. We're not making money from the product we're not selling. And I'm just getting sick of it. Like I'm looking at these prizes. It's like there's nothing new. Like it's just all like rehashed. A couple of things are like there's a foil fearless. Did that exist last year? I don't remember. That's cool.
No, I think that might be new.
I'm sorry. It's just frustrating, dude.
But I mean, it's also like, if that's one of the best things you can get. Like, if that's the only thing, that's kind of just a bummer. Yeah, no, I mean, it feels very last minute and like the absolute bare minimum of organized play. Samuel, yeah.
Yes. This is so, I mean, just looking at the GTs, it is for the most part either community events that already existed that are just being labeled grand tournaments because they had the ability to organize already, or it's already existing conventions like Gen Con, NashCon, Salt Lake Open. Like these are conventions that already existed outside of AMG's like control, and are just hosting, right? Like they again had the ability to organize. I don't know. I came on this podcast a couple months ago right after Worlds and was like, I think AMG is doing a good job. I think that we should have faith in them. And like this, it's just a slap in the face because it's lazy. It's kind of predatory in the fact that like it's setting up to be on the shoulders of these community events that, and then giving them kind of nothing that they didn't already have access to.
Yeah.
It's just
how about the fact that when that transmission about Worlds came out after Worlds, they spent 5% of it talking about the success of Worlds, and then 95% of them talking about how they were losing money and needed to restructure. I'm like, we're not even going to spend any considerable time talking about how successful this was and how many people turned out. They're like, first paragraph, it was great. A lot of people showed up.
But
we had a good time. We lost money.
Yeah. But we lost money. End of transmission.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said too, this criticism, is not aimed at the people. Like I don't want to aim this at the people at AMG who are working very hard, making do with what's little here. I still feel that they are working with one hand tied behind their back, and that it might be good that the little that we're getting, there are people that are fighting for X-Wing. I know that the people, I feel that the people at the company do care about X-Wing, but that they're being hamstrung by the greater entity of Asmodee and AMG, and also,
it's like when you're an idea man,
the specter of their looming restructuring.
For me, it's like if you have the ideas, or you like have the the passion to keep if you're like let's say you're someone like Will who just deep down loves the game of X-Wing. I'm not gonna say that Will is this person, but someone like Will who clearly is passionate about this stuff, and you aren't given a seat at the table, you're not given the meeting to express it. It's just it doesn't matter, right? So
for sure.
It's
right.
I can relate with that, with work. I want to do all these things, but we're not even given an opportunity to speak about it. The people who advocate for my position don't talk about it, and the only way to change that is for them to be able to get that meeting and to have that opportunity. And so it sucks because bureaucracy gets in the way of being able to it's frustrating for the folks at the lower levels of AMG, and by lower levels exactly the people doing the day-to-day stuff, because they can't do anything about this, but they still, just the way it works is they're still going to be getting the blame, or at least because they are the ones ultimately responsible, and they're set up for failure in a lot of ways. Things they can't do much, go rogue, they lose the license, they have to be really buttoned up about that, and just fall in line. And so I mean, I don't even think hopefully not suggesting that I have any sort of personal beef with the personnel of Atomic Mass Games. It's just ultimately the way it is, right?
I just wanted to put that in there, because just in case they listen to this, because I know that they do interact with the communities online and with the media and stuff, that as someone who's worked at bad organizations in the past, a lot of this also is giving me kind of flashbacks from my own working conditions. So I just wanted to have that differentiator out there, just in case they're listening.
I mean, we've done a good job of being pretty even keel about, I mean, Manny is not a fan. I swing back and forth. I've never really been a huge AMG fan, but I've tried to be more middle ground. I think you've done a good job of being more optimistic with certain things. It's gotten to the point though where it's just you can't ignore it. You can't spin it. And obviously we'd be talking in circles, just rehashing that, but I'm just looking at the list of, it's interesting to see how things are broken out, because a lot of the US GTs have multiple games, that's all 5 game lines. Some just have X-Wing, which makes me even more confused as to why some of the stores we tried to organize a GT for were rejected. If you don't have to have other games. I thought you needed more than one game, but there are plenty that only have X-Wing, or only have Shatterpoint, or only have Marvel Crisis Protocol, and even Anchorage in Alaska has an X-Wing GT, which is that's dope.
That's
Alaska's
great.
beautiful.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. But the entirety of the Midwest doesn't get one, besides Gen Con, which is it's a given, because Gen Con is fucking massive. It's huge. It has to have one. It's just I just am confused. I'm trying not to be Nick's biased because he's from the Midwest. It's well, yes and no. Yes, obviously I want X-Wing here. I'm from here. I live here. But
we're very biased.
We're very biased, but also it's just anybody would look at that and be there's something missing. The entire middle of the United States is
I mean, people who are in Kentucky, or even even further south, or if you're in St. Louis, that's tough for you to even get to Indy. So Which means that because the GT circuit, I think, is kind of so lackluster, this is a great chance for people to just have better store championships. It's going to come to the community to rise up and create better events than what these GTs are going to be. And this is where I think we're going to start seeing a lot more extended play and maybe a shift away from the current meta, because this is now I feel becoming one of the most stale metas that I've experienced in X-Wing. The what was it? The UK just had a tournament. Which one was that? Oh yeah, UK Games Expo. Just happened, and in their top 8 there is 3 Republic Arc lists, and Republic Arcs won it. Good showing though from Ollie playing FO. There was 2 Rebels and 2 Resistance lists that made the top 8 cut as well. It turned out to be a Republic, or it was Rebels versus Republic in the final.
At least it wasn't Republic versus Republic.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, right. That would have been much more of a bummer. But Rebels list has the new Braylon Gina combo with Wedge and Gemmer. So 4 Battle over Endor ships with just Keo.
I do think that this list is super concerning if you're looking at the UK Games Expo results for meta defining qualities.
Yeah.
Republic is still really good. Triple Arcs is still really good. This list put 4 into the top 16, and it's just the same thing. There's no, I hate the idea that there's no innovation in list building, because metas are stale. People are trying things and trying new, and there's a lot of cool stuff in this tournament.
Yeah.
But Rebels and Republic crushed this tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's Rebels are in such a good place.
And Republic, has still reigned top dog.
I think Republic is you can still easily make the argument, because there's all the evidence to support it being number 1, but you could also make an argument that Rebels might be moving into that place.
For sure.
If not now, soon, which would be the most meta changing thing of an already stale meta, is just those 2 swapping places being at the top already.
But they've definitely crowned themselves as they're both S tier. And then I would say Resistance, FO, and Empire would be A tier.
Yeah, it is pretty clearly a tier break right after the first 2.
Can I ask a very obvious question? This is so obvious, and it's kind of rhetorical, but I just am putting it out there. I'm throwing it out there because spiciness can be entertaining, and let's entertain people.
You've laid the table.
Why half-ass putting together a bunch of GTs across the country for a game that hasn't had an actual points update in a year? I just wonder the logic behind do you think to prep for a new season of organized play we should change something, and then them being nah, what's there to get excited about? You need to motivate people to go to these freaking things,
right?
And I know they're gonna be you see, the GTs didn't do well enough, we're not doing anything anymore. I just know it. I know it's gonna happen.
Yes, I mean, right. They're going to be, hey, the GT season was great. We lost money. Sorry, Sam, you'll go.
Yeah. I was just going to say, this isn't supported in much besides just a feeling. But I kind of get the idea that the meta is in a place where they think it is appropriate, and they don't want to touch it for fear of breaking something again. We had the meta with Han and Republic for so long, and I get the feeling that the game's in a place where they are just comfortable.
I just can't imagine saying that for FFG, right? Can you imagine saying that for when FFG is like? I just don't think FFG wants to break anything. That's why it's okay for them not to make any changes. I'm not saying you're advocating for it being okay for them to not make changes, but that would be unfounded for us to think that FFG could do something like that. It would be okay. Like,
it just smacks to me of being fearful. Like it just smacks to me of like we don't want to upset the apple cart. And like things are in a decent spot, so like why mess with it?
I mean, Will Schick did tell me they kind of were low key hoping the game would get to a place where it was just the points didn't need to be updated again. I didn't think it would be so fast. Like they did one iteration and then that was it. I'm like that. I hope that's not the case. Like you need more than one points update to get to that point.
Yeah, I think that they're at a place where I feel like they know, and if they listen to any of the conversations happening in any of the communities, everyone knows the meta is stale. I feel that they just haven't taken the time to test out anything new or to try like any new points changes. And because what we had before was the points tweak, which helped a little bit, but it was not a major overhaul. To me, that signals that they're just not spending any time evaluating it.
Right. There's no labor put into adjusting the meta, tweaking knobs. Like,
right.
There's just no information that they care about.
These are marching orders. They're just like, don't focus on this right now.
Exactly.
Right. I think people are nefarious. Like, I will ignore X-Wing and look at Shatterpoint instead.
Yeah. It's,
That's not the case.
It's just incompetence, right? Or I guess not.
Well, no, it's not though, right? It's incompetent marching orders.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's
negligence.
Like,
it's negligence.
Negligence is exactly what I mean.
Gross negligence. It's so gross.
It's just they're a corporation with other ideas. So and that sucks for us.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think the easiest way for there to be a meta shakeup, especially when I know we're making our tournament here in Chicago in July extended. I have a feeling that a lot of other store championships are going to be extended, and we're going to start seeing more of a push for that just to give something new.
I'm concerned with turnout though, Andrew. Like, I have like not even 10 people signed up yet, which is not. It's still like 5 weeks away, 5.5, 6 weeks away. I hope we can get 16 people. Like, it's just the vibes are not immaculate, like, yes, bring your IGs and your Guris and all this like cool extended stuff, and people will, and I'm hyped about that. Just turnout is another thing. It's like, yes, here comes the opportunity to do like community led stuff, but like, imagine Field of Dreams, like if you build it, they will come, and then nobody shows up. And it's like, damn, I built this. Like, what the hell, man? I built this whole freaking baseball field for my dad and for all these Hall of Fame baseball players that died. I don't know, that's neither here nor there, but no one showed up. So if you build it, they better come. Like, I'm hoping
10 people are coming.
Well, some people are going to travel from out of state
it's
to go
in July.
Play.
Yeah, it's in July.
I'm just worried about this stuff. I worry, man. I do. I'm a worrier. I blame my parents, my mom. My mom.
The good news is now we won't have people not signing up because everyone's sitting around waiting for the 16th person to sign up, which is good. I'm happy that that's over.
Yeah, the goalpost just moves. Like, the goalpost is inverted on the other side of the field in a different zip code. The field moved to a different zip code, but it is a different situation now. We don't have to worry about that specifically. We just have other things to worry about that are bigger, I guess, like just like the state of the game size, thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to talk about extended, Andrew? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I mean, because I was going to say, if we move towards extended, the main question that I have is which factions gain the most from an extended tournament, and is it enough to shake up the current meta? Like, as in, would it just be better to bring a standard meta list because the standard ships are now just so much better than extended? I can throw that to Samuel.
Do you want the hopeful answer or the like?
Your honest answer, honestly. Yeah.
Honestly, I think the standard stuff's too good. That said, I have been super excited about extended. I have been playtesting a little bit of extended. I know anecdotally people in the community are really excited about extended. Like, I think it's just the opportunity to play with something new and play with something that feels fresh.
Yeah, because the tournament or the league that you're in for 312, that everyone voted to make that an extended league too.
Yes, they did not vote for extended no ban list, which I was very excited about, but
yeah, I think that's better. I think
we'll be okay.
No, I think the ban list is good.
I agree, but I am here for chaos.
Well,
There
hold
you
on.
go.
Let me pull up the breakdown of how people voted. It's like this is a perfect opportunity to talk about the 312 team league. Is opening day is just around the corner. Sam is on the 312 crew. Our team expanded. So we've added Sam and Steven Weiland, Mr. Team USA.
Oh, awesome.
So we've got Sam, Marcel, Daniel, Leon, or Epionic, as most of you know. And then who else am I missing? Steven, and I think that's 5. Yep, 5 people.
That's a formidable squad.
Not bad, considering the fact that I consider myself to be like the underdog in that crew. I think speaks to the potential.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to see how my TTS games go, for better or worse. But if I look at the summary of how people voted, which I was surprised at, it was so actually, in terms of the pie, 29% of all people voted for standard, which pissed me off. Like, just looking at that, I was like, are you kidding me right now?
No. Some people like standard.
Some people like the devil. They like Satan.
Standard is not the devil.
Yeah.
Standard is the devil for all intents and purposes. Exactly. 48, Ted Bundy had friends. It's 21.6%, 27.7 for extended. So 21.6% voted extended pilots only, no band upgrades, and then we had 27.7 wanted to use the ban list. So
okay.
And then we had extended no ban list was at 21.5%. So like people,
that was close.
It was a split between fully extended or partially extended, and then 27% versus 29 was extended with the ban list, 29 for standard. So ultimately, because 75% of people voted for something extended, we just went with the second highest, even though standard was technically the highest.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So the team league is going to be 8 weeks, and then it's going to be a few weeks of playoffs. It's kind of a casual competitive league where we're adding a subs roster as well. So if people can't play their game for a week, they'll be able to get it subbed. And it'll be a really fun way to rally people together. There's going to be 14 teams of 5. It's a lot of teams. It's almost 7. It's like 70 people, which I'm absolutely thrilled about. So it's the largest league we've ever put together. And
you said it was double, right? Like
more than double the first league.
Yeah.
The first league had 2 divisions and 3 people per team. I think it was 10. It was 10 teams. So now, we've doubled it in terms of player count. So lots of opportunities to stream some fun lists and play some fun lists. And Sam, our team is going to be doing a little bit of everything, and so is everyone else in terms of playing some more competitive stuff and then experimenting with some extended stuff. And we also will have bounties, which always are nice because that encourages people to kind of try to play towards a bounty, to do something kind of unique or weird or different than what.
Yeah, that shakes it up.
And that has proven to work in our first season of this. So, yeah.
And the bounties are like a list building
or game effect thing. So like, blank out 3 times in a row, you'll even get some points for that. Or build a list with, custom Luke instead of boy Luke and win a game. Fire a proton torpedo without having to reroll your dice. There's a variety of list building like in situational bounties.
Yeah, that's very cool.
It's cool. Yeah.
Super neat.
Yeah, and by the way, don't worry, everybody. If you like standard, I'm not comparing you to Ted Bundy's closest pals. You're not a Satanist. But I'm just also I just really was just surprised that I was like, guys, don't you want to try something different? Genuinely, I really think it's probably best to not be locked into playing the same thing all the time.
Yeah, I mean, they showed some people have risk avoidant behavior and feel more comfortable with what they know.
It's the triple arc players. They all just voted for standard. We all know it.
If you're on top, why would you want to leave your your perch?
That's true.
It's so comfy up here with Oddball and Jag and Wolf.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I gotta say, when it comes to extended, I feel that Scum gains the most, just because they also have the most ships that are locked behind the extended wall.
Agreed.
And it brings in a lot of different point values and build around values, like with those ships. Also, a lot of people miss Guri, and there's a lot of older, like 2.0 archetypes that you can build again, like with the IGs and things like that. So it does open up, it does fill in some of the holes that Scum had when the standard 2.5 switch happened.
They've also got some not even just like fun build arounds, but like some efficiency upgrades as well. Like the K fighters are pretty nice for Scum.
Yes,
They just having a efficient beater, it just kind of levels the playing field a little bit, I think.
A chunky 3-gun ship that has an all right dial, like an X-wing type ship, is I think, when I think of something that Scum needs, a gap in Scum that needs to be filled, that's the first ship that I think of.
Star Viper is like the one that
Star
I think
Viper
of.
too.
Its stat line is incredibly good. It has a shield 4-hull.
Yeah.
Bendy barrel rolls make it really fun and dynamic,
especially with objectives. There's a lot of great uses for that there as well. So I think it definitely smooths out the Scum faction, maybe brings it up from where it is like to in C tier to like B+ tier.
Certainly viable.
Yeah.
Being admin of the team league, I'm seeing people picking their factions, and a lot of people are picking Scum as their faction because they want to play extended Scum. They feel confident in that faction, which is nice. You know, I wish CIS could have a little bit of that as well, but that faction is a little bit more fixable. I think it has been better in the past.
For sure.
But they obviously don't really have access to additional tools like Scum has.
Yeah, and I feel like most of their ships are there. Which CIS ships are in extended that aren't?
CIS was all black box release, so technically,
right.
Like,
so I think everything is standard there.
There might be some fringe band thing, but I think the flak Arfox were errated, and the original was banned. I believe that was the dial peaking one. I think you can play a different version of that, or maybe just a standardized one is what you can play. So there are some like things like that, but nothing that was ever played or playable in the past that's like banned from CIS. Like it might as well not even. They might as well not have anything that's banned. It doesn't affect CIS at all. So yeah.
Actually, I'm looking now. I think it's all up on. Yeah, they don't have anything that's locked behind extended.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the Nickel City X-Wing Draft League, our league. We have plenty of like XVT, and of course, if I didn't mention yours, I'm not excluding it, but those are a few examples of like kind of community-led organized efforts that I think are going to kind of carry X-Wing through this period of uncertainty until we hear something. No matter what, I think it's time for us to kind of forget AMG for all intents and purposes, just kind of like keep them in mind, but not really think about them as much. Like as Don Draper said to Peggy, like, I don't think about you at all. I think he said that to Peggy. I don't remember who it was.
He did not, sir.
Oh, was it to Pete Campbell? Was it to Pete Campbell? Okay,
yes.
Campbell. You see, but here's the thing. I still know the show because I fixed this. Like, was it Pete Campbell? I know the show. Everybody, editor's note, Nick Sperry watched Mad Men. He says it's to Pete Campbell. I like Pete a lot. He's the not great Bob guy as well.
Say it to Pete.
Who does he say it to?
In the elevator. Yeah.
No, he says it to I forget the character's name. He says it to the guy who goes crazy.
Oh man! But anyways, I don't think about you at all. I think we have to play up the Don Draper vibe.
It's 100% Pete Campbell.
Okay, let's see. Don Draper.
I will bet you a lot of money that this is not Pete Campbell.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up. Oh, there's an ad. No, get YouTube Premium, everybody.
And we're off the rails.
It is not Pete Campbell.
Oh, it isn't. Yeah, it's the other guy.
He says it to Schmo Spo.
The Michael, Ginsburg.
Ginsburg, yes.
Yeah. We're all wrong.
That's fair. All right. So sorry. Back to Extended, because I'm also I gotta say I'm tired of speculating on what AMG is or isn't going to do as well.
It's just time for us to
move looking
on.
to the future by going to the past, which is Extended.
How far into the past do we go?
Well, we're just going like 2 years.
Can I make an analogy really quick, Andrew, that you're going to hate, but I think it's funny? Sam, you might like this one. Super quick.
Okay.
So Atomic Mass Games is that like cute girl that you match with on a dating app that like every like week or two she like messages you back and like you're like, oh, and then like you kind of like are like, why is this, you know, there's ambiguity, like why is it taking so long for a conversation? That's AMG. AMG is that one, like the one that keeps getting away and coming back. So like it's time to move on, unmatch her. Move on.
Yeah, I'm there. So now going back to Extended, I think that Extended also moves Empire up. They gain a ton, maybe moves them from A to S tier by adding the Lambda, the TIE Reaper, and the Alpha class Starwing. There's some pretty, I think, cool builds that you could get around Major Vendor. I know that also having a coordinator or just the bulkiness of the Lambda in there as well can open up a lot of really cool list building possibilities. And Redline, in a meta that has 5 ships, I think a Redline would do very well.
I worry about the Starwing just from the fact that they're all 5 points.
And oh my god, the Phantom.
Well, the Phantom I'm excited about. Like I it's not the same. It's not what it used to be, but like
no.
It's still fun.
It's only still... single modded attacks, which is like that's so 2022.
Just throwing 3 dice with a focus.
Single modded? Oh my god.
But it's tanky.
It's tanky, it's slippery. It you know, it kind of does what Soontir already does, but worse. But you know, it's fine.
In a list with Soontir, you have to then pick between who you're going after. Yeah.
I am excited to build with the Starwing. I've played around with some lists. There's one list fortress tournament that was extended recently that had a Major Vendor build that I liked. Come in third.
The one in Hungary.
Yes, one in Hungary. Sat salvo, fire control system, plasma torpedoes, advanced slam, OS1, and cluster missiles. Just like
I was looking at that. That looked cool.
The most offense you can possibly put into one 5-point ship. Just seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that's what you want out of a 5-point ship as well, is for it to trade up.
Just thinking like there's that meme. I'm sorry guys, I'm so like
you are really stuck on this. Yeah.
No. It's not AMG this time. It's like there's this like girl that went around who is saying, I'm looking for a man in finance, trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes. So I wrote my own version of that. I'm looking for a boy in standard, 3 points, double mods, dice gods. Anyways, continue with your conversation.
Is that Click?
It's Tomax.
Tomax. Yes, it's Tomax. Tomax. Yes, that's right.
Tomax brand. Yeah.
Yeah, we could remix that later. I'll remix it.
That's a fun one.
I sense another.
I like that. Name this X-Wing pilot based on this dating profile I read you.
Oh, that's good content right there.
That would kind of be a fun game. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm super curious to find out if the Punisher is any good.
The Punisher I always struggled with when I played in 2.0 because it's beefy, but yeah, I mean so the things that are gonna hurt it right now are ion bomb tech has gotten a little out of hand. Like ions are just a lot, and they're everywhere.
The fact they're high points.
Medium base, which is nice. They can boost. The access to a boost is nice. Road rolls really hurt I5s like Redline. who rely on being in range to get the double modded shot. I feel like Redline, if you're looking at like stuff that's going to stand up to standard, Redline makes a lot of sense because of the double mod opportunities that he can give you. You could focus and then acquire a lock.
Yeah. I5 is good. 25
I5
points of loadout.
Yeah, a lot of loadout, almost too much in the sense that like you don't need more than like probably like 18 points on him, but great. He gets a lot of loadout. Yeah, the other thing is like mag pulse warheads, plasmas, all the popular stuff.
Proton torpedoes,
yeah. I mean, anything facing off of Protorp, obviously, it's tough. But like, I'm just thinking about the tech that's like really high value, and those are all super anti Punisher tech. So
you mean right? Yeah, because Redline's a little better because you get the double lock, 2 locks. So if one gets jammed off, it's not the end of the world. But
yeah, they do get to pick which lock though too. So the jammer has a lot of agency in that regard,
for sure.
I wanted to just. Sorry, just really quick, going back to the Star Wing that Sam had mentioned, like Major Vendor, I do think the biggest issue as somebody who is playing Merrick for the longest time is that like you do just run into a wall when you rely on single modded shots, as much as Vendor and like Merrick do. We're just in this double modded meta. So I think it would be a challenge, but if you paired like Lieutenant Sai with Vendor, then you can get some double modded opportunities. So that's 2 extended ships or pilots. That's cool.
It's two extended ships. It's 10 points. So you better be right, I guess.
It is a lot. You're investing half your list in a double modded proton torpedo. So.
Right. Which is the Battle over Endor bomber that just gets to do that for free.
Yeah, was it
Scimitar 1?
Scimitar 1, yeah.
I mean, it sounds fun. Sounds super fun.
Looking for a bomber and standard 3 points, double mods, dice gods, man. I mean, that's Scimitar 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking now too. Yeah, Redline is 7 points. That's the same price as Rack.
Yeah, Rack or Jendon.
Redline 7 points, that could just be 2 ships for you. So is Redline worth 2 ships?
Redline, I'd rather take the blue line.
Yeah. Honestly, I think Redline could be like 5 points. I think 7 might be too high. Take down the loadout, make it 5 points because they blow up so quick.
Yeah.
I have just been informed that the Cubs have tied the game. It's 5-5.
Oh, do you need to go? Like, should we end the podcast right now?
No. Yes. Trust me, this meaningless game on a rainy Chicago night is more important than talking.
It's gonna make no sense when this comes out in a week. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be like, wait a minute, that was like, it's like little did Nick know they were gonna lose 25 games in a row.
The people listening to this podcast this is such old news.
It's true. Hello, the future.
Hello, future. The future. What other factions? Resistance has some more extended stuff than you would think. So does FO.
Yeah. The Resistance is interesting because I think the Star Fortress low-key might be good. I
played it last year at the Scrub Down, and Star Fortress can be very viable.
Yeah, I just because the Star Fortress is large base, right? It's not medium base. Yeah,
it's a big one.
Having access to just another large base ship is pretty cool for Resistance.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not just a Falcon.
Yeah,
I think it's mainly the Star Fortress, and then for FO, it's like pretty much just like I think it's just
the shuttle,
Upsilon
right?
shuttle.
Yeah,
which
the
is a tank.
Is the big. That's the big one for FO.
Yeah. Rebels also. I mean, we haven't talked about the Lord and Savior at the E-Wing because
I was gonna say,
does that faction not need Gavin Darklighter? Man, do they not need Gavin Darklighter at all? It's like Gondor does not call for raid, man. We're good. We're good. We got too many people. Defenses are good. We're okay over here.
I was gonna say, like, it feels like with all of the new card packs that have come out with Battle over Endor and Battle of Yavin, the fact that they made the B-Wings so freaking good.
Yeah.
It's you don't the E-Wing is kind of taking a back seat. It's sitting in the shadow of all these standard ships now.
Well, I mean, I don't know if Gavin Darklighter at 5 points is just it's pretty damn
it's good. It's good.
It's the crit like if you so you could do Gavin and the 2 B-Wings.
Oh, 5 points,
would
18
be,
loadout. That's really good.
Yeah,
he's beefy.
He's
Never
beefy.
mind. Never mind.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
The B-Wings, it's 9 points plus Gavin would be that's 14 points. And
Yeah,
then
I'm
you
building
could
it-
throw
I'm building
in
it right
2
now.
or 3 more
Honestly,
ships in
yeah.
there.
You can throw in Gemmer and Keo, and that's your list.
That's so good for objectives too.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pretty good,
for
especially
crates,
take
yeah,
your
it's
locks
salvage.
early.
Exactly.
man.
Take your locks early. Everybody gets crits. I mean, you're firing off.
I take it back.
Crit,
Yeah.
yeah,
E-Wings.
everybody's
This just feeds a faction that's already super fed.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's like when you save room for dessert and then like you got to save room for second dessert and third dessert. At this point,
Just cut to me in my pantry cramming Oreos into my mouth.
your belt is
like-
completely undone. You've gained 25 pounds. Oh, I shouldn't have had the Gavin Darklighter,
So
I could have had Wedge.
but it's so tasty.
you know what? I mean, thinking about it now, I feel that moving into extended, that may push Rebels above Republic.
You think it's no longer?
I think it might. I think it might be enough.
1A, 1B.
Yeah. Well, we're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
even talking about Wolf Waro. I mean, come on, folks. Wolf Waro, the guy that's gonna fire 4 or 5 dice just like right out of the gate. You just drop a concussion bomb on him, call it a day.
Yeah.
That combo is hilarious. If you do Wolf Waro with Jan Ors, it's the funniest thing ever. She's just 5, 6 dice depending on range. It's hilarious.
That's achievement unlocked right there.
Yeah, exactly.
I
I think that's a
bounty to
good.
me.
That's a
Yeah.
good bounty idea for the team league, because a Wolf Waro Jan Ors combo. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, extended is gonna be the palate cleanser but honestly, I'm just kind of calling to the community. You know, if you want to try something different, like step out of your comfort zone. You know, be on the same page with other people. I think what would suck is one person trying to experiment with something new and someone else is bringing triple arcs or something ultra meta is probably gonna win. You know, like I think in a lot of cases. So just kind of agreeing in certain spaces, you know, to like try something else. So it levels the playing field a little bit, because I think for a lot of the more competitive minded people, if you're not winning with it, like is it worth stepping out of your comfort zone? Like you should be okay with being in a situation where even if you lose, you at least felt like it was a more even keeled kind of fight.
And that you're having fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're having fun if you're not getting like blown out of the water, right? Like I'll have fun losing by 4 or 5 points, but if I lost by 15 points, like
No, it's I think that we all know that you're talking about the close games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that that's a great spot to end this episode on. So, does anybody have any closing remarks?
Sam.
I'm looking at Whisper. I'm looking real hard at Whisper right now.
Yeah,
I know. I want to play Phantoms again so bad.
I don't know. I don't think you can build it correctly, but with only 8 loadout points. But I'm looking at Whisper real hard.
They're just so much fun.
Yeah.
How about you, Nick?
Yeah, thanks for putting up with my silliness, of course. One last time, again, if you want to remix it, everybody, I'm looking for a boy in standard, 3 points, double mods, dice gods.
There you go. Well, thank you everyone for listening to our episode. This episode is brought to you once again by Strata Strike. You can go to their Etsy page and buy so many different things, including things for X-Wing like wood templates, trays, objective tokens, and more. Use discount code 312 Squadron for 15% off your purchase. To catch replays from any of the next tournaments that we stream, you can go visit Gold Squadron Podcast. Oh no, starting that one over.
Okay, that one's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
I
to catch any what?
Go ahead, start over. Go ahead.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah. To catch any replays from Worlds, all right. To catch any replays from Worlds, from LCQ to Final Table, go visit Gold Squadron Podcast on Twitch. Be sure to follow us as well on Twitch to catch us live and catch edited content on YouTube. like us on Facebook, and of course, jump into the conversation with us directly in our Discord server. Finally, thank you to our patrons for making this possible. Nick, do you want to shout out some names?
Yeah, thank you to our Patreon is going strong. It's been just definitely check it out. We've got some amazing cards coming that are exclusive to the patrons. Some awesome swag every few months, and it really helps us out. So thank you all again to our patrons and everyone that has listened and stopped by and hung out with us.
Yeah, you can learn how to become our biggest supporter in the episode description. And we cannot do it without you. My name is Andrew Kuba.
My name is Nick Sperry.
And I've been Samuel Gravener.
And thank you all for listening.
Nice.
All right.
Sweet.
Nice.
Samuel, thank you so much for hopping on last minute.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This is always fun.
It's always a blast. We're always happy to have you.
All right. This looks like it's uploading. Do I need to let this run, or will this?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you keep the browser open while it's like,
got it.
While it's doing the upload thing, I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I guess before we sign off, I know if anyone's got to jump off, go for it. But Sam, I just wanted to know how'd the move go? How was everything?
Super smooth. We got down here just fine. We got down here in a day.
Awesome.
Which was awesome. The movers moved us in. The house was in great shape. We are not fully unpacked because it's been a month, and
I'm not either.
Yeah, we had to start working like the 2 days after we moved.
Oh damn!
I didn't get any time off to like start unpacking, but I got my office set up. It's pretty cool. I got all my board games and X-Wing stuff all just like displayed. I like it.
That's awesome. That's good. I got my office set up as well.
Where'd you move to?
Roscoe Village.
Oh, nice.
So moved into a pretty nice, technically 3-bedroom, but we're making one of the bedrooms was just so big, we just made it a second living room.
Oh, nice.
It's great. We got a guest bedroom though as well, and a sunroom. It's tons of space. I have a full mobile command center with a 3-monitor setup. It's great.
Hell yeah, that's the way.
Mega desk.
Yeah.
I need to upgrade my desk. I've got a third monitor, but I currently have my work laptop set up in a permanent spot, so it's like sort of my third monitor.
Yeah, that's what I got going on too.
Yeah.
But my work got me a very nice laptop, so the monitor, the screen on it's like huge.
Nice.
It's like a 21-inch. Yeah.
Sweet. Oh yeah, sweet.
Damn,
that is
awesome.
Cool.
Well, I'm glad the moves have been good or going.
Yeah.
Well, for you guys.
Well,
cool.
All right. So
too.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome that there's an X-Wing community down there as well.
Yeah. Very, very fun.
Thanks, Sam, for jumping on.